The Wise Centaur, a tale of ancient Greece. Long ago, centaurs roamed the mountainsides of Greece. Mountain shepherds who told tales of centaurs spoke of coming upon one of them standing motionless among the trees. The shepherd might think, for a moment, that he had spied a man, for the centaur had a human head, muscular arms, and a strong neck. But when the centaur moved, he gave away his true form. The centaur's body was that of a powerful horse. They were wild creatures, fierce and often cruel, with huge, dangerous hooves and hands like claws. And most men tried to stay as far away from them as possible, for the centaurs brought chaos to the world of men. But two centaurs, Chiron and Pholus, descended from a different line. Pholus was the son of Silenus and a nymph. Chiron, the son of the great Titan king Kronos and the sea nymph Philaria. Pholus and Chiron were peace-loving and always kind to humans. When Philaria gave birth to her centaur-shaped child, she begged the gods to transform her into a tree, and she left Chiron to live alone near a cave on faraway Mount Pelion. Chiron grew up there, far from the world of men and gods, and though he lived among the other creatures, he kept himself apart. Unlike other centaurs, his interests were not in drinking and merrymaking. Chiron wanted to learn all there was to know in the world. In his distant cave, he studied and became famous for his knowledge of 1,000 things. He taught humans to use plants and medical herbs for healing, and his musical talent was so great the gods said that even the stars stopped to listen to his songs. As time passed, many gods and men sent their sons to learn from Chiron. The great heroes Jason, Peleus, Achilles, Asclepius, and Hercules were all foster sons of the great centaur, and he taught them all he knew. Most important, Chiron taught his pupils to combine their physical, moral, and intellectual strengths. You must use all three if you wish to be truly heroic, he taught them, and the greatest of the Greek heroes absorbed Chiron's wisdom and goodness. But Chiron stayed in the mountains. Sometimes, on their journeys, his former students and foster sons would visit him. They would sit in his cave, telling him tales of their adventures in the world. Sadly, one of the greatest heroes would be Chiron's downfall. One summer day, Hercules went to the mountain to visit his old friends, Pholus and Chiron. Coming to Pholus's cave, Hercules called out, "It's your friend, come to visit." Pholus, pleased to see him, served him a wonderful supper. "Let us have some wine," Hercules said. Pholus shook his head. "There is just one jar, and it belongs to all the centaurs," he said. "It was a gift from the god Dionysus, and we must not open it." Hercules waved his hand. "Open it," he said bravely. "Do not be afraid," for Hercules feared no one. At last Pholus agreed. He fetched the jar and opened it. But when the other centaurs smelled wine, it maddened them, and they dashed from their caves and out from among the trees. Carrying flaming torches, they rushed Pholus's cave. Hercules managed to fend them off, but many of the creatures were mortally wounded. Tending to one of his fellow centaurs, Pholus drew Hercules' poisoned arrows from a wound and accidentally dropped it on his foot. The poison instantly killed him. Hercules, powered by anger and accompanied by Chiron, drove off the others, chasing them all the way to Cape Malea, where they took refuge with Chiron. In the battle that followed, Chiron accidentally dropped one of Hercules' poisoned arrows. It grazed his leg, and Hercules stared in disbelief and anguish at Chiron's deep, painful wound. "You are the greatest healer in the world, Chiron," Hercules cried. "Surely there is something you can do to heal your wound." Chiron sadly shook his head and shivered in pain. "I warned you long ago when you were my student that your weapons were not natural. This wound cannot be healed, and because I am immortal, I cannot die." For a long while, Chiron withered in anguish, and search though he did for a cure, he could find none. Unable to recover, he prayed to the gods to grant him death. The gods, saddened by Chiron's pain, and thankful to him for all of his goodness, granted his wish. Prometheus took on Chiron's immortality, and so quietly, peacefully, Chiron lay down to die. When the greatest of centaurs died, the world was quiet. The other centaurs fled, and the sky wept rain upon the earth. Hercules knelt down and sobbed with grief at the loss of his great friend and the wisest of teachers. "He will not be forgotten," the gods proclaimed, and Hercules, hearing this, looked up. There, high in the sky, he saw a new constellation of stars. And so it was that Chiron had been transformed into the newest family of stars. When Hercules saw the strong and gentle archer with the centaur's sleek body aiming a bow and arrow across the starlit sky, he smiled, for he knew Chiron would always watch over people and guide them to goodness and knowledge. I don't really believe that there was more than just one simple messages. I believe that there was many more messages to it than you may first think. One would be always just make sure your time with someone that you care about is well spent and that they know that you care about them. And also, when people are trying to explain stuff to you that really do truly care about you, do listen and keep an open mind because it really is. They really are trying to look out best for you because they do actually, in fact, care for you and aren't just saying things to make you stressed or even more confused in the situation that you're already in. This was the first episode of a mini series about Greek mythology. I'm going to title it 5 Second Stories. And this is Malicious Intent signing out.